Okay, so we have Cassandra installed. Now I just want to work on the interface for a little bit, and I have the zip file open that I downloaded in the last video, which is just a very simple template. So I'm going to create a folder to build, or I guess edit the template. Okay, so I'll just go to HTML dev. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring over these. We don't need the PSD. Alright, so let's open up index.html in both our code editor and the browser. Okay, so in the HTML file, let's start up here, start with the title. Okay, so we'll change this to find a doctor, and let's see, style sheet we'll just keep as style CSS. Let's see, we got wrap, we have a header. Let's change the title here to FindaDoc, and I guess a description. Let's say search for local doctors. Okay, menu, we're not going to have very many. We'll have a home, we'll have browse doctors, and let's have an add doctor and an add category. Okay, if this was a production app, you would have, most likely would have add doctor and add category only available to admins. But we're not going to integrate that kind of functionality because it would just take way too long, and it's all stuff that we've already touched on. Alright, so let's see, we'll just leave, actually, yeah, we can change this, I guess. We'll just send this to doctors.html. And add doctor, actually we'll just say add, no, we'll say add doctor. And add category. Okay, and let's see, content. We basically have a left column and a right. Left is actually the main column, which is the larger one. So I want everything inside of the left, okay, which will be here to here. Alright, actually we can leave the H2. And we'll just change the text here. Get rid of the link too. And we'll just say, welcome to find a doc. Okay, now we need a form. Alright, actually let's put a little paragraph here. We'll say, we will help you find a doctor in your area. And I'm just going to use states. I mean, obviously this is something you could change, but what I'm going to do is, let's make a line break, and I'm going to put a select list here with all of the US states. Alright, so you can easily find the code for this online if you don't want to manually type it all out. Okay, it's just a simple select list. And then for the categories here, I'm going to keep those. I'm going to get rid of this archives though. Okay, and then I'll just change some of these to doctor categories. So we'll have general, and this stuff will all be dynamic when we build the app. Let's just say like audiologist, audiologist. I think that's how you spell it. Okay, let's have cardiologist. Okay, so we'll do dentist. emergency doctors, and we'll do neurologist. Okay, and then down here, that's fine. The footer, we'll just leave the footer there for a credit for the template designer. Alright, so let's save that and see what that looks like. Okay, so that's good. We just have a little select. We'll be able to click find, and that'll take us to a list view of the doctors. So that's good for the home page. So next we'll create the doctors.html. And some of these may be different when we actually create the application as far as the HTML, but it will all be relatively the same. Okay, so we'll open that up, and I'm just going to paste this in. Okay, really simple. It's basically the same thing, except under the left div, we're going to have browse doctors, and then just an unordered list with the class of docs, and just list items with a couple fields, just their name, their specialty or category, and location. So if we save that, and we should be able to now browse doctors, and there we go. Now we're going to add a little bit of extra CSS to get rid of the bullets and stuff, but we'll do that after. So now let's do the add doctor form. Okay, so we'll just create another HTML file. Add doctor.html. Okay, so I'll open that. I'm going to copy the doctors HTML, copy all that content, paste it in. And let's see, we'll change this title. Add doctor. And I'll go ahead and just type in a form real quick. So we'll get rid of the unordered list, and let's change this to add doctor. Alright, so we'll create a form. Alright, and the attributes like post, like the method and the action of the form, we'll do that when we actually create the app. Alright, so let's put a div around each field. Alright, and then we'll have a label. And this will be full name. Actually, I want to make that caps. Alright, and let's put a colon there. And then we'll have the input type is going to be text. Name will be full name. Alright, then we'll just copy this. Okay, so full name. Next will be the category. Alright, now this is going to be a select. So let's change this to select. And then change the name to category. Okay, and then we'll have some options. Okay, so I'll just copy that. Let's just put one more, so we'll say, because this is obviously going to be dynamic. I don't think anyone wants to sit here and watch me write forms, so just make it short. Alright, so after category, we'll have another select list that will tell us if they're accepting new patients or not. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that. Okay, we'll just say accepting new patients, and let's call this, we'll just call it new patients, and we'll just have a yes or no select. Probably should have just pasted this in, but it's all right. All right, so new patients. Next, we'll have the practice name. Okay, so the office they work for. Practice name. And I'm just going to change this to practice. All right, next we'll have the graduation year, just so people kind of know how long they've been a doctor. So I'll call this grad year. And we're going to need some location info. All right, so let me just copy this. Okay, so we'll have the city that their practice is in. And we'll have the state. The state, I'm just going to make an input field. Actually, no, I'm not, because we're going to be searching by state. So let me just going to grab this same select right here from the home page. Okay, and we'll just let me create the div and the label. So label will say state. And if this was a production app, you'd most likely want to cover other countries as well, not just the US. But, you know, once you know how to do this, you can change things like that pretty easily. So let's change this, or just add a name attribute for state. All right, and then the last one that we'll have is the zip code, so, or the postal code. So zip code, and I'm going to give it a name of zip. Okay, and then of course we need a submit button. Okay, so we'll say input type is going to be submit, and we'll say value will be add doctor. All right, so let's take a look at that. So we'll add doctor. Okay, we're going to need to add some CSS, but that's fine. All right, so add category. Let's just copy this and create a new document. And this one we'll call add category.html. Okay, so we'll open that up, paste this in, change a couple things. We'll change the title. Okay, and basically we're only going to have a category name. All right, we will have an ID, but that's not going to be input by the user. We'll do that. Okay, so I can get rid of all this, except for the submit button. And we'll change the value to add category. All right, so check that out. Add category. Okay, simple. Let's put a line break, or another line break. Actually, wait, we want it above the submit. And then we'll add some CSS. So we'll go to the bottom. Oh, actually, before we do that, I forgot to do the details, because we want to be able to click on details and get the doctor's info. So we need to create just like a sample page for that. So let's say new text document, details.html. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste this in. Okay, the only thing that we changed is this area. Actually, we need to get rid of this browse doctors. Alright, so we have a link to go back to the list of doctors. Then we just have the information. We have the doctor's name and an H2 tag. And then I separated the fields into physician information and practice information. Practice information holds all the address info and the practice name. Okay, so we'll save that. Now we should be able to click details, and we're going to spiff this up a little bit. So we'll go to back to the style sheet. All right, so we'll start with the list of doctors, which is UL Docs. Is it a class or an ID? I'm not sure. It should be here. Okay, UL class docs. Okay, so docs, and then we want the list item. We want to float to the left. List style is going to be none. Alright, width. Now we're going to have two columns, so we're going to set the width of each one to 50%, and then just add a margin bottom to push the bottom down a little bit. So 20 pixels. Alright, so let's take a quick look at that. So now we have two different columns. Alright, next let's do, I guess we'll do this page. No. Browse doctors. Actually, yeah, we'll do the details page. Okay, so we want details left. Okay, that's going to be, we're going to give it a width of 30% and obviously float it to the left. And let's see, details right. Alright, we're going to make that width 60% and float to the right. Alright, and then we want, let's see, let me just take a look at this. Okay, so we have UL doc info and practice info, and there's some styles I want to give to both. So say doc info, LI, and practice info, LI. And I'm going to give it a line height. We'll say 2M. And list style is going to be none. And we'll give it a border bottom. Okay, border will be 1 pixel. And let's make it gray and solid. Whoop, let me get rid of that. Okay, and then we just want the heading. So details right, H4. Okay, we'll have some padding and margin. We want 10 pixels on the top and bottom, and then I'm just going to give it a background. Give it a background of light gray. All right, so we'll save that. And that looks a lot better. Probably put a line break under the heading, or yeah, I'll put a line break. All right, so that's the details. Like I said, it doesn't look beautiful, but it's working. It'll display. It'll show what we're doing. So that's what really matters here. Oh, for this, let's make this better. What is this? Cancel. Okay, so let's just say all labels. So form labels, I'm going to say display inline block, and well, forgot the A. And we also want to give them a width. Let's say 180. See if that works. All right, and then we'll just add some margin to the divs, to the form divs. All right, so that looks good. There we go. Actually, for add category, we can probably now get rid of that line break. This one here. All right. All right, so that's the template. So in the next video, we'll start to create our node application, install the Cassandra driver, and implement the template.